Hello everyone, in this video we will be talking about Enums, which is a Solidity data type. And here I have created this informative node and I will be pushing this to GitHub. You are welcome to copy it and use it for your own purposes. So Enum values, they will look like uints, but they are not uints because you cannot do math operations with them. You cannot use access modifiers on Enum lists, but you can use access modifiers on Enum variables. And enum lists, which you see here, an example which you see here, enum lists are not arrays. Okay, so it means that you cannot do any array operation on enum list. You cannot use while loop, for loop. You cannot use length property. You cannot iterate on the enum list. You cannot update the enum list. You cannot delete any element from the enum list. So you cannot do anything as you would do on an array. And one last thing, when you declare an enum list, this list, it must have at least one value. It cannot be empty. And after knowing all about this, now we can implement this so that we can start our project, start our contract. And enums, actually, they are sometimes useful in cases where you would like to create some variables, and that these variables, they will have only certain values, and those variables that you are creating is for a specific context. So this context in our example will be a hamburger restaurant context, and clients will come inside the hamburger restaurant. They will have their choices, of course. Some clients, they would like big hamburgers, some small, some medium, and we will be saving clients' choices in variables. And instead of saving the client's choices in string variables or in uint variables, we can create an enum and we can save their choices in enum variables. Why we would like to do that? Because it will be nicer, we will be packing, it will fit better to the context. Okay, and it will be cheaper to use also. And yes, so to create an enum variable, we must first declare an enum list. So as you can see here, this is the list, and the hamburgers, they can be big, medium, or small. That's enough. I can make this bigger. I can add like very small. It cannot go forever. The maximum number of elements that you can put inside this list, it's 255. Okay, you cannot put more than that. And later, if you would like to create a variable of the type of enum that you create here, then you need to start with the enum name, which is hamburgers, and then you can use access modifiers. I will say internal, and you can say my choice because I am the first customer here. And if you do not assign a value to this variable, then by default it will go to the first element here, which is big size. But of course, when you return this variable, it will not return you big, because this is a string. Let's say it will return you 0, and yeah, but this 0 is not a uint, and we talked about it a minute ago. And if how can I assign a value to this variable? You can do it like this. I will show you two options. So I will say set1 external, and I will also say set2, so that we can see both ways. And here I will say my choice, but not like that. My choice is equal to, and here also I will say my choice is equal to. So the first way is to grab the enum name and open some parentheses, and if you want to have medium size, then you need to say 0, 1. Or if you want to have small size, then you can also do it like this. You can say hamburgers 2. Okay, it will will mean that this hamburger choice is small. Or instead of saying 2, you can say small. Okay. So these two functions, they are the same thing. They are just doing it in different ways, but they are the same thing. And later, if you want to return the value for this my choice, it's easy actually. You just say function get value, or let's say get value, and external view returns, and we will return what? We will return hamburger type value, which is enums, and enums are value type variables, so that's why you don't need to use memory here. And we will be now opening some parentheses, and you just need to grab this my choice and return it. That's it. But if you want to return, you can also return the elements of this enum list. It will not be much useful, but still, if you want to know how you can do it, you can again do it in this way. You can say function get value 2, so return hamburgers. Yeah, it will stay like that. So this time I will say hamburgers dot small. By saying that, I will be seeing what is the index value for this small size hamburger. So it will be 0, 1, 2. Okay. And after that, I guess we can also see how we can create an array. I can do it like that. I can say hamburgers and open some array symbol, and that's it actually. So here you can again use access modifier. I can say hamburgers public client choices, and then you can open your square brackets, and you can add values like this. You can say hamburger small, or you can add it like that also. But that's how it's gonna be, okay? And you can make this as big as you want, as this is an array. So that's all about it. And if you want to return this array, it's also easy. You just grab, let's say, function get value 3. Maybe I can say this 1. And external view returns. This time, as this is an array, we need to use memory keyword because it's a reference type variable. And I will be just grabbing this name and returning it here. But then no need to say public here because I am using this get function. And that's it actually. Now we have a yellow sign, external view returns. Yeah, as we are not reading anything, this here in this get function, as you can see, I am not reading any value of a variable. There is no variable here. It's just index number of this enum list. So it means that this instead of making a view function, I can make it a pure function. And that yellow sign disappeared. Let's now deploy it. And yes, as you can see, we have set get value, get value, get value. Okay, so if I get the value, you see by default your enum variable values, they will be the first index number, which is 0. So in this case it will be big size. But if I want to change it, I can change it to medium size, and now if I check it, you see it became 1. Here you are seeing uint 8. It shouldn't confuse you. This is not a uint, okay? You cannot do math operations with it. So that's all about enums. You will not need to use them often. You will only need to use them if you have a specific context and if you would like to limit your variables to these contexts. Okay, so in this example, the context is hamburger restaurant context, and so in those cases you can use enums, but you will not need to use them often and you will not come across them often. So that's all about it. See you next time. Bye bye.